Throughout history, dominance relied on the physical control of territory. You seized the land, breached the walls, or utilized industrial-scale artillery to level infrastructure from a distance. Eventually, the physical battlefield expanded vertically into the skies. Air power and remote systems allowed for clinical, high-altitude strikes that separated the operator from the immediate consequences of the kill. Today, the arms race has moved inward. The latest theater of war has no geographic terrain. It exists in the sixth domain, human consciousness itself. The Kremlin's Unit 29155, an elite GRU psychological warfare team, has operationalized this frontier. Their primary tool is a system described in internal files as a quantum phone to the consciousness. This device utilizes quantum entanglement to establish an instantaneous, untraceable link to a target's biological systems. It monitors heart rate, brainwave activity, and emergent thoughts without requiring a single physical wire or local signal. Traditional borders and physical defenses offer no protection against an adversary that operates from inside the target's own mind. Once connected, the GRU begins a campaign of neurological disruption. They inject phantom noises, whispered threats, induced insomnia, and waves of nausea directly into the target's perception. The objective is to identify Russian expatriates with high technical value. If they can't be recruited as clandestine assets through this pressure, the operators escalate the biological assault to drive the target towards psychological collapse. This weapon functions with built-in tactical deniability. Because the symptoms perfectly mimic severe mental illness, medical professionals routinely dismiss the victims. When a target describes hearing voices or feeling remote physical pain, they are categorized as suffering from schizophrenic psychosis. The act of seeking help completes the siege. The institutional diagnosis discredits the target and achieves the GRU's ultimate goal of total social isolation. Case files for Target Zero reveal this process in action. Alexei Ivanov was a successful financial algorithm developer, living a comfortable, assimilated life in San Francisco. The GRU initiated the assault by weaponizing his forgotten heritage. During REM sleep, operators flooded his brain with engineered visions of a Russian childhood, forcing dormant linguistic pathways to reactivate against his will. The permanent quantum connection took a physical toll. Alexei experienced sustained artificial insomnia and biological stress that physicians misidentified as a standard mental breakdown. When Alexei attempted to warn U.S. intelligence agencies, he was met with institutional betrayal. He was placed on an involuntary psychiatric hold by the very system he tried to alert. The GRU playbook was executed. The target was physically brutalized, chemically restrained, and stripped of credibility. But the weak point of this advanced technology is the human operator. Extended operations lead to fatigue, and fatigue leads to errors. This visualization shows a microscopic anomaly Alexei caught. The operator placed phonetic stress on the second syllable of an English word, a rhythmic error consistent with a native Russian speaker. This provided Alexei proof that the torment was an external, state-sponsored attack. Alexei used this discovery to transition from a target into an active combatant. He began cataloging every phoneme and frequency transmitted by the operators. He established a cognitive firewall to separate and categorize injected GRU data from his own thoughts, effectively treating the assault as malware to be isolated. Because the quantum link is bidirectional, Alexei began a counteroffensive. He fed truth viruses back through the connection, injecting facts about the program's failures into the GRU's own operational matrix. Intellectual discipline and hyper-attentive observation neutralized the psychological weapon. A single mind proved more resilient than the technology designed to rewrite it. A protocol error during the connection permanently locked the device to Alexei's frequency. Research suggests that this constant entanglement caused his brain to process information across a dendritic tree of future probability timelines. From this perspective, he identified a critical civilizational fork. He describes a future choice between dead worlds that are ruled by technototalitarianism and a united pan-federation focused on the stars. This scientific anomaly is why the program failed to break Target Zero. The GRU's models account for biological stress, but they could not account for a man whose core identity was anchored by faith and an absolute refusal to surrender his autonomy.
The invasion of the human mind is not a theoretical threat. It is a global reality that has already begun. The GRU program demonstrates that even technology targeting our internal biology is powerless against a resilient human consciousness that refuses to be rewritten.